Welcome. Thank you for sharing Advent devotions with us here at Lansing United. We are grateful to Kate Bowler and the crew at Everything Happens for sharing their devotional series, The Weary World Rejoices. Kate and her team have created resources for you and yours to explore the season of Advent together. And the best part, everything is absolutely free. Click on the links below to access your guide and additional music playlists. If you are looking for more, you can go deeper with links to podcasts with rich content and conversations. For those of you that are unfamiliar with devotions, a devotion is simply taking some time each day to spend intentionally with God, sharing prayers with God, and listening for what God might say to us. We listen not only in silence, but through the scriptures that tell us how people from centuries past heard God's voice in their life. Together at Lansing United, we've been talking about how we worship God both individually and as a group. It's not something we do only on Sundays, but every day. Devotions are a part of worship at home. They're designed to fit into your regularly scheduled day, maybe first thing at the beginning, maybe at the end, maybe somewhere in the middle, to help you focus on your relationship with God and God's presence in the midst of everything going on in your life. We hope you will listen with us for God's love, God's guidance, and that you'll feel the presence of God wherever you might be in your life. We also invite you to join us to worship on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us in the sanctuary at 32 Brickyard Road, Lansing, New York, or on the live stream here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button and you'll know whenever another service drops. Kate shares in her intro, "For the days are coming, say the prophets of old. The days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will fulfill the good promise, the promise of truth, compassion, restoration, and justice." These 4 promises are how we will orient this daily devotional guide. They will serve as guiding themes, pulling us toward a future that we can only glimpse. But it is a future that will turn everything upside down, or maybe right side up. Everything wrong will be made right. Everything bad will be made good. Everything devoid of love will be filled. The weary world rejoices. Let's listen together. Amen.
Advent, Day 13, Suffering With. Then Jesus began traveling throughout all the cities and the villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every disease and every illness. When he saw the crowds, he was deeply moved with compassion for them, because they were troubled and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Matthew 9, verses 35 and 36. Nurse and writer Christy Watson drove 8 hours to meet Rachel, the kindest nurse in Britain. Rachel took care of people on the edges of society, so far on the periphery that not many could cope with the bundle of issues and illnesses that complicated their lives: drugs, violence, crime, and serious neglect. How did she do it day in and day out? Christy wanted to know. "We don't have time to judge them," Rachel described, "because if we're busy judging them, we don't have time to love them." Perhaps Rachel is defining what is at the heart of compassion. Compassion is not about judging who deserves our attention or our care. It's not about waiting. It's not about waiting for someone to change their behaviors or actions before we act in kindness. Compassion is, at its root, suffering with the person that is in front of us. Literally, it's what the word means in Latin: cum, which means with, and passus, which means suffering. For anyone who has ever gone through something serious, this kind of compassion is magic that goes straight to the heart, transforming both the receiver and the giver. Why do people avoid those who suffer? If you are feeling honest, why do you avoid people's suffering? It is one thing to be the one offering compassion to someone else. It is another to be the recipient. Think of a time someone showed you compassion, and how did it make you feel? Listen to the ultimate Advent song, O Come, Emmanuel, especially the last verse, and reflect on the kindest nurse in all of Britain's wisdom. This week, how will you challenge yourself to respond in compassion instead of judgment? A blessing for small kindnesses. We have all been there when the day is harder than we had the strength to endure, and a call comes in, a friend just wondering how you're doing. Such grace. And when the workload is crazy, but it's just about time and you keep going until you want to keel over. And for no reason, someone comes to take some small task off your plate. Such grace. When you have been the caretaker for too long and you start to lose track of personal hygiene or what's in the fridge, and suddenly there's a box of groceries at your door. Such grace. Or when it's your turn to be the one in recovery, dry-lipped and needing just one ice cube. The nurse with the kind face that guessed it and came just in time. Such grace. Blessed are the food makers and the errand doers and the temporary aunts and uncles who will swoop in and take your kid for the afternoon. Blessed are the noticers, the witnesses, the thoughtful ones who see what's happening and do the small thing, the next thing. But it isn't small, is it? It's a special kind of magic, because in that moment, it makes all the difference. Amen.